President Trump is going to be fighting back. He is going to invoke executive privilege.
Trump's claim of executive privilege.
President Trump on his own can claim executive privilege.
These days, you can't turn your head without hearing President Trump and executive privilege in the same sentence. What exactly is executive privilege? For that, we open today's DC Dictionary. In its most basic sense, executive privilege allows the president and others in a circle to withhold information to Congress or a court, claiming it would threaten our national security. Case in point, former President Donald Trump claimed executive privilege for himself and his former staff. That was after the congressional hearing issued subpoenas for the investigation into the January 6th Capitol riot. Sounds simple, but it's not. Executive privilege needs to be very specific. That's according to Professor Victoria Nourse from Georgetown Law.
Under the court's rulings, they have to actually pinpoint the precise document or the precise conversation that they are claiming is subject to privilege. It's easy to say, oh, all I said was secret. But if a court is going to review that, they have to have something to look at.
That's one reason why the White House turned down Trump's request for executive privilege. Perhaps a bigger reason, the White House says the events of January 6th are unprecedented.
I think if you look back at past presidents, Democratic and Republican, there isn't really a precedent for what we're talking about with this select committee and what they're trying to get to the bottom of. And the uniqueness of that, I think, is important context.
Executive privilege isn't in the Constitution. It wasn't until 1954 when Ike coined the term, during the Joe McCarthy hearings looking for communists in the Army. President Eisenhower refused to turn over notes from his meetings with Army officials, saying national security may be put at risk. But it was President Richard Nixon who set the current court ruling during the Watergate scandal. Nixon refused to hand over his secret tapes, saying the president is completely immune from judicial process. But the Supreme Court ruled the president is not above the law.
The ground for asserting the privilege as to subpoenaed materials cannot prevail over the fundamental demands of due process of law in the fair administration of criminal justice.
Can a former president invoke executive privilege? According to Nourse, the authority attaches to the office, not the human.
Judges tend to be more deferential to a sitting president because of the demands of the office, and they should be. But former presidents do have a form of privilege. This happened in the Nixon case as well. But the court said it's defeasible by a good enough reason.
Now that you know about executive privilege, what other words should we add to the DC Dictionary? Let me know in the comments below.